we should start on defense, shouldn't we? I think defense deserves the respect, the way they perform. We should start with defense. So we're going to lead off with defense. Then we're going to go talk some offense. Then we're going to, mix it up with players, your thoughts as fans, and then we're going to go right into what happened around the SEC. But first, this video is powered by our partners over at Sleeper. Have you checked them out before? You've got to. They're a lot more than just season-long fantasy leagues. They have daily fantasy sports. And so this year, millions of users will enjoy the ability to play fantasy sports on Sleeper. And the app gives you even more than that. You can get live stats, so real-time updates for those players and visualizations of all the stats you're looking for. You also get a news feed that gets you all those updates of your favorite players and teams, of course, the ones that you're playing in the daily fantasy sports world, and real-time chats. You can engage with other users on individual plays, as well as performances throughout college football, NFL, as well as the NBA season. So download the #1 sports app today so you can experience this as well. Use our promo code UNFAIR, and you will get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Hoop, we got to talk about this defense first. I think the defense deserves all the respect for what they put together, because when you put together a performance like this, 24-13, you basically, you owned the night. There were a lot of things that I could talk about with this defense. Like, I could go literally position by position, and I think we probably should. Yeah. It probably makes the most sense. I'll let you choose. Which group do you want to start with?
Let's start where it all starts, the defensive line.
All right, there we go, Coop. How did you feel about the defensive line in this game?
So the big thing that, when people were coming in was, how can Oklahoma handle the physicality of the lines for Michigan? And I can promise you this. I can promise you this, Jay. Of the 4 units, that's the OL and DL for Michigan, the OL and DL for Oklahoma, the offensive line for Michigan now is a lot less sure of themselves than any of those other 3 units. That was where the biggest, ass whooping was every play.
It really was.
It was every single play. And, we'll get into the stats here in a little bit, because I got about 5 different stats I wanted to share. But your boy David Stone, that boy, you might as well just throw an offsides call on him, because he's coming to the backfield, and he's going to be hanging out back there, because he that's just where he made his night, was in the backfield. He was disturbing plays. He was in the backfield. Every single time that they would get everything to go, there would be an absolute a big 0 in the middle. And then I also didn't realize that he was one of the upbacks on the punt, on the punt team. I pointed that out to you, and I was like, is that Stoney back there, like right in front of the punter? But yeah, got to give it up. It just went across the board from Marvin Jones Jr. had probably his best game so far. That's of 2, right? But Jayden Jackson got himself a sack. He was he was disruptive all night long. G Baby got in the back. Those boys were great. We have to. You looked up, we saw Marcus Strong out there stonewalling folks, and that's how the night went for the Michigan offensive line.
The violence you got from our defense was everything we hoped for and more. And so I kind of want to say this in this way, because this is kind of one of those that you've heard me say before to all of you who are listening to us. And I want to give this preference also. Let me pull up my note that I wrote myself to make sure I didn't miss what I wanted to say. So when it comes to the players and the staff, the one thing I appreciate most about all of them is that they do take responsibility for what happens on the field. They do take blame. If it's on them, they'll take that. Sometimes they'll take blame that ain't they blame. Mm-hmm. So I want to put that out there, because I had some folks in the comments on my morning after talking about, who had what blame of what BV said in pressers. Cool. Believe me, we do a great job of accountability as an organization, so that's not a worry to me. I say that specifically because The reason why I have been so adamant that I have faith in Brent Venables, why I have a BV We Trust shirt, hoodie, all of that. One reason, Coop. He came here and gave us one of the best defenses we've seen since the last time he was here. That defensive line was maulers. Yeah. They literally was punching them dudes in the face. As it was mentioned here in the comments by my guy, David Chamberlain. Teddy and Gabe were giddy talking about it. They were so excited. We were excited watching it. It felt like an out-of-body experience of seeing something that we just have not seen in a while. And the funny thing is we saw this last season. Coop, if you really think, this is what we saw last year. And so we was asking the question, well, I mean, is the defense line going to be that good? But no, we saw them doing this stuff last year. And now it's rolled over into this game. And here's my one point I'm going to add. Stone was fantastic. Jayden Jackson was fantastic. Dominic Williams was fantastic. Grayson Halton was fantastic. I'm sorry. Like, the entire interior was awesome. Your edges. We'll go through edges in a second, but let me point this out, though. The one concern going into this game was the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so. As fans, you being concerned about this offensive line, I can't even argue with you. I got it. I pointed it out myself. But I said this also in a video. Me and Coop, we were together talking about this as well, and I've said this in individuals, and I try to reiterate this a lot for you all. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to talk to y'all like y'all are five. I really am at this moment because I want y'all to really understand what I'm trying to say. For the physical brand of football that you all want us to play, there will be collateral damage, unfortunately. We will occasionally see our own players deal with pain, deal with injuries, deal with situations. I said this for one reason. Did y'all see how many players on Michigan got hurt in this game? They lost 3 offensive linemen in this game. They lost 3.
And
one of their
6
best
players.
6 players. One of their best, I think he's a tackle or guard.
Guard.
The guard. All-American.
Yeah.
Their dude. We knocked him out the game. Why? Physical football. And I only say that because we deal with collateral damage on our side because we try to build our linemen to be able to handle what our defensive line is putting out. And the unfortunate thing is sometimes, dog, we can't even handle our own defensive line. They're just that good. That physical brand that you all want, here it is. We got it. We're seeing it. We're taking out other teams' players on accident because we're just tossing them and falling.
It is. And that's kind of one of the things where I was going to go for, too, Jay, was we heard all of this stuff. And you know what, Nick Saban, get your monkey butt in the water, too, because I'm tired of you not watching anything, not watching any games. And so for you to, it was crazy. Michigan's got a freshman quarterback coming on the road, and their offense was putrid last year, and they had a good defense. It sounds pretty similar, except for we got a dude who accounted for 44 touchdowns in college football last year.
There you go.
So how about you put some respect on the Sooners now, Nick?
Respect.
And, there was not any I'm falling down hurt to keep, counteract the tempo. We were legitimately hurting people. Not on purpose, just through the roughness of this defensive line. And then you saw, it ended with Barham. He was the last dude to go down, making the tackle on Torrey Blaylock. And, that's another, freaking All-American, All-Conference player. But it was every single play that was going on. Guys were getting up, shaking their shoulders. They were, the one dude got hit in the junk. We saw that one, and they had to, pull him out for a play. But we went through 6 of them. So I will say this is, can OU's team hold up with the toughness of the SEC? I'm putting it on record right now, Jay. Is the SEC ready to stand up to the toughness that the Oklahoma Sooners can bring to the town? Your town, our town, wherever we're playing, this team's bringing toughness, and you got to match it. It's not the reverse. Let's not get it twisted anymore, because these guys on both sides of the ball, offense did more than their fair share, but the defense, they took the fight directly to Michigan's offensive line, and that unit is looking themselves in the mirror this morning wondering, is it us or was it just them being that good?
We were licking our chops the entire game, dog. Like, we were ready to just put a shot into. We were just mauling right through the middle of them and going straight for them, dog. Like, that's something that I expected us to be this good on the defensive line, but there were some things they were doing. I was just like, oh wow, this is a lot more than I even anticipated. The rotations on the edge of Taylor Wine, PJ Adebawore, MJJ. PJ had an underrated game. He really did.
Very much.
PJ, MJJ, Marvin Jones Jr., R. Mason Thomas. You got all four of those dudes getting out there, and they did a good job of just making it really hard for Michigan to just run the way they wanted to. Michigan's game plan in this game was to run the ball down our throat, 100%. Their goal was to try to open things up for Bryce because they know that him being as young as he is, it's going to take some time to get to where you want to get to. We just did not allow it.
And before anybody gets too excited and says, yeah, but y'all gave up 100. Okay. BV has already came out and said, done a long touchdown run to start the second half. It was a bad play call. The two people that kind of got caught up on that one were Peyton Bowen and Courtland Guillory. Guillory was getting yelled at by BV from the sideline. If you go back and watch, he's getting yelled at because they were in a bad call that he didn't like it. I think that should have just been a timeout call at that point. And so what happened? Bowen got sucked up a little bit too far in the middle, and Guillory just kind of froze deer in the headlights and didn't make a choice. He tried to play cautious football, and by the time he made anything, Haynes was out the backside. But Jay, outside of that one run, 31 carries for 71 yards. And that is the bread and butter of that team, is running. So they ended up, yes, the 75 still counts, but also another thing about this defense, and I'm trying to stay under control here, Jay. Do you know that the best two consecutive offensive plays for Michigan last night were a 12-yarder and an 8-yarder?
Yes.
Anytime that they had any type of I say 5+ yardage play, it was either a 1, 0, or a negative right afterwards. Like, it was not good.
Yeah, we did everything that our fans would have hoped we have done in response. So back to that play. I talked about that in the video, and BV said he had the back call and everything. And, like, I know that he said that. And I agree. It was a bad call. And I said, to me, the problem I felt with that is, first off, I said it was BV's. That was on BV on that. Even,
to me,
after the presser, when I watched the video, when I watched the film again, you could tell that Guillory kept looking over there trying to figure out what is he saying. Like, I don't understand. It was one of, because the thing that BV does still do, it sometimes annoys me, but there's not much you can do about it. BV sends plays out sometimes late, and he'll make adjustments like after he sees kind of what they're doing, and that's just his style, and that's okay. The players are typically prepared, but when you have a true freshman, there's a good chance they're going to miss a spot. And in that play, that was on Guillory missing that spot. Like, and Teddy even pointed it out. And I love how he pointed it out. He said Kendal Daniels being the cheetah going to the outside like he did, it kind of blocked the visual for Guillory. Makes sense. To me, I was expecting for Daniels to kind of set the edge there, make sure Underwood goes back in, and then Guillory could go get him if Underwood kept the ball. But the run, that hole, Guillory's supposed to cover that. I don't blame him for not being there for it because BV in the call. I'm just saying that's who was supposed to have been there. If he was there, that play gets stopped. But you're right, Coop. I would have said the same thing. I would have called a timeout on that first play.
I mean,
when I felt uncomfortable, like, oh no, that's the wrong one. Blah 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 blah. I would have called timeout too.
And you know what? I think that a timeout gets called at that point. And I know that we're getting kind of off the subject here, but I know a timeout probably gets called at that point if they knew it was going to be 75 yards. Like, I think that like Brent Venables wasn't thinking like, oh crap, I didn't pull the trigger on it, and I'm thinking like a 10, 15-yard run, something like that. But I digress. I just say that again. Michigan came in here with their identity, and we made them question that. And and Jay, let's go to the defensive backs next, because I know that you and I have the same feeling about the defensive backs. Brother. And one guy in specific. Brother.
And that one person, I think he did some, and somebody asked a question in here. One person has sold us on the recruiting trail. Like, he is the shining example on recruiting, which we may have two different people, but this one person has literally is going to create a tsunami on the recruiting trail for Oklahoma for 26 and 27, because he proves that if you got it, I will gladly throw you out there as a true freshman. Even though we've done it in multiple positions. You do that, he will say, no, I will gladly put you out there. Courtland Guillory, man.
Yeah.
He literally has made it look perfect for Oklahoma, especially in recruiting. All them young players looking at him like, dude, he a true freshman. And he got, I think it was our guy Brody Lusk. He's the one that said it. It wasn't Colton. I thought it was Colton. It was Brody. Brody tweeted out that Courtland was targeted 8 times in that game. He gave up 1 catch. He was there.
Jay, it wasn't just the fact that the dude pretty much put folks on lockdown. It was the fact that you ran into Courtland Guillory, and he kind of punked you. Like, not only was he swiping the ball out of the way, I mean, he was just in the perfect position every single time that he was thrown. The ball was in his area. And that's Donovan McCulley. Like, everybody was like, well, Courtland's great and all, but, at 5'10" or whatever, like, is he going to be able to stand up? McCulley was 6'5". And McCulley didn't want that little kid playing with him anymore, because that wasn't fun.
Nope.
And I will say this. I mean, dude, yes, he get out of position on that one run? He sure did. He really did. But when the ball went out there, yeah, I mean, Guillory Island, I am down for it. Collins.
I will fight you all for that. No, we will not be using that. That is hilarious.
No. But no, it was, again, when we talked about our breakdown on Wednesday, I said, you want to put those receivers in conflict, and you want to put the offensive tackles in conflict. Yeah. That, I was 50-50, because our defensive ends, our edges didn't even have to put folks in conflict, because the interior, we took their strength on their offensive line, and we put them in conflict, and we then put them in the injury tent, and then we put them back on the bus. So, I said it. And then, so Gentry.
So the questions are out there. Everybody's posting about it, of course. Yes. Gentry looked like growing injury. Strained a growing, pulled, something like that.
And could have gone back in.
I think they're going to sit him probably until Auburn. But he looked good, too. His shoulder, it wasn't a shoulder problem, which I'm good with.
Wasn't
it's
a shoulder,
probably a pull from chasing somebody. I'm cool with. I need him to be back healthy for the Auburn game. But hey, Jordan looked good.
Devon Jordan.
How you felt about Devon Jordan.
Devon Jordan, yeah. I mean, I will say that there were 2 plays, and one of them was on Gentry, one of them was on Devon Jordan. So I want to talk about those plays. And those were when Michigan ran the action one side of the field and then countered back, and Underwood rolled out. And he had a level concept, and there was somebody over the back and then somebody up front. And then one time I think that there was just one receiver back over the top, and both the safety and the defensive back, the first time was Gentry, the second time was Devon Jordan. And both of them came after the quarterback instead of communicating and having that figured out. That was a great play design. Those were the 2 longest pass plays. Outside of the miracle, what was the Giants receiver?
David
Tyree catch over RSJ.
Yeah, McCulley had a catch over. Yeah, that was a massive. And Teddy pointed it out even on there. I didn't get to finish up the Oklahoma breakdown, but he pointed out that they had 140 yards on those 3 big plays. And then the rest of it was 148 yards total of offense that they had to grind out. That to me is a good thing. Like, and only one of those big 3 plays, only one of them led to actual touchdown. The problem is we got what was that? Is that we'll talk these penalties that we do keep doing stupid stuff. You know, we gotta cut that out. Running into the kicker. Yeah. I love Samuel Masigo because he had a really good game as we transition into the linebackers and cheetahs. He had a really good game. Owen Heineke is your MVP for the night. That dude, I guess he is for real like a reincarnation.
Mighty Mouse.
Because he Mighty for real Mouse. Like earned his spot as a walk on. He balled. It but
did
stupid penalties, roughing the kicker. What was the other one? Like just
there. I've got the free first downs. I've got the face mask by Marvin Jones.
Yep.
You know, and that one, I don't think that's a stupid penalty. I think he is 7 inches taller than Justice Haynes, and Haynes kind of collapsed, and you know he reached down and he just caught him. I mean, so there's that one. You've got the roughing the punter. You got the super cool fake holding call that got called on Dom, and then obviously the muff punt. But
yeah,
I mean those are the big ones. So, but linebacker, yeah, man. There's 2 players, and both of them I think that people thought were very, very cute and cuddly, and this is good for the heart stories. One of them was Owen Heineke, and I promise you, folks are going to be watching film and go, "Oh, damn, that's not a fun story. That's a ball player."
That's a ball player, 100%. But you know who else is a ball player though? Someone that I was told by Oklahoma State fans that, have fun with him. You enjoy him. He's just not going to hustle. He doesn't have the grind in his system. He doesn't have the dog. Kendal Daniels killed a man. It's like Brick killed a guy. I'm going to start calling him Brick moving forward. That's what it looked like. It was a brick wall running into Brick killed a guy.
There were several times to where Kendal Daniels was involved in a play, and I thought, why is the edge out there? And then I was like, oh yeah, 5. That's right.
I forgot. He's not an edge.
That's Kendal Daniels. So right when that happened, so again, I kind of talked about like we had right behind you and I, there was Michigan fan with his kid, and if that dude's watching us tonight, hopefully your kid's doing fine. Dude was trying to shove Kleenexes in his kid's ears when we were on offense, and he was like, "It's really loud for them," and I was like, "Bro." First drive of the game on a first down, kid is like, "It's too loud for me," and I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse, Bubba."
But
I'm sorry.
But right then, and Michigan fans, they're looking for it. They want a ball don't lie scenario. And when Kendal Daniels came down and took that man to the boatman, he was like, "Dude, that's targeting," and I was like, "Bro, he hit him damn near with his chest." Like Kendal Daniels almost hit him with his chest, and but I mean that was, I think Kerry Murdoch said on the post game report that they did that he had a decibel meter, and that's the loudest part of the night. That he was testing it throughout the night, and when Daniels hit the dude, was the loudest portion of the crowd all night long.
Yeah, because that was really loud. That was a massive pop that we got.
And Justice was out for 2 or 3 series after that. Like they had to kind of check on him and make sure, because the last thing you wanted. Oh, why would you do this?
It's okay. Continue.
But no, I thought you were gonna thought you were gonna show it, and I was like, that
don't worry, it's coming.
That guy's got a family. But early in the night, Kobe McKenzie run fits were really, really good. He was getting in the backfield. He was doing what Kobe McKenzie does and just arrive with violence. Like we said, Heineke, they rolled in Omasigo. They had such a good, rotation of the linebackers going on. I saw one time where it was Heineke McKenzie. I saw one time when it was Heineke and Kip. I saw one time where it was Omasigo and Heineke. Like, they were rolling throughout the whole time. And I just, again, it must be fun to play as a linebacker in a game like this, because this is why you want to play football. Is you want, as a linebacker, you just want to go tackle folks. And when Michigan kept on rolling in the 3-4 tight ends going in there, you know that you just get to go running at the line and create some violence. And as long as you stay in your fit, you're good and golden. And I mean, it happened quite often.
No matter what anybody tells you or could try to tell me about like what Michigan was trying to do, the fact that they kept rolling out a whole bunch of linemen and like they were rolling out multiple linemen to play tight end, that told me everything I needed to know about what they were trying to do. Why? Because that was basically we gotta run the ball if we're gonna try to be competitive in this game. They couldn't get anything out the way they wanted. That touchdown run was because they had like 8 million running backs out there. And I mean, a lineman to go along with the tight ends. They were doing that. That was exactly what it was. But I digress. Kendal Daniels tried to kill a guy. That was great. You get a combination of Reggie Powers, Robert Spears Jennings, Peyton Bowen, all over the place. The secondary was very impressive to me. There was situations where we could have probably got a little bit more depth. And you could tell it was more so players that – it was newer players. Like Kendal should have got deeper in one play. We probably should have had Courtland a little bit deeper on certain plays, on certain catches they got. And it's going to happen. You're going to have plays that don't match up perfectly. So you can't expect perfection when you're going against actually good offensive coordinators. Chip Lindsey's going to be a solid one. But overall, Coop, the defense gave us everything we were hoping for. We knew they were going to try to muscle us. They couldn't do that. We knew they were going to run the ball. They couldn't do that. And Bryce Underwood, we knew he was going to have training wheels on. And guess what? We were there to knock off a wheel at a time very slowly. Let's dive into the offense. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5. We'll take questions after we talk offense. But first,